We have our experts waiting by. We have Kunal Botha as well as Vijay Chopra joining us on the show. Very good morning to you, Kunal, as well as Vijay. Kunal, I'll come first to you. Sensex just powering ahead day after day. What's the new set of targets that you set, as in the support and the resistance levels for Sensex?
Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning, everyone. So on Sensex, we are now heading towards a gap or closure of a big gap which had been created in the month of, I think, April, May, when Sensex had fallen below that 58,250 mark on the upside, and I think 57,700 on the downside. So we've started to enter into this gap for the Sensex, and typically when the gap is closed, we expect the indices to consolidate over there. So 58,250, 58,500, which should be at least another 500, 600 points on the upside for Sensex. That could be an immediate target for this index.
All right, so that's the view coming in on Sensex. But let's go ahead and let's take all of our viewer queries. We have a lot of them actually waiting by for us today. Let me kickstart with the first one that I have is from Maleshwari, and he wants to know whether he can buy Oil India at current prices for the short term. Kunal?
Well, I would suggest an avoid for Oil India. I think the best of the rally for the stock has happened, I think, just 2-3 months back in the month of May, I guess. From 220, the stock had rallied up to 300. Now at 192, the stock is way below the starting point of the previous rally. So that itself makes the charts a bit more, weaker. So I would suggest an avoid.
Okay, we've got a question coming from Prashant, and he's asking for a short-term target and view on SBI Life. Kunal, what's the view?
So I think post the results and the breakout the stock had seen last week, I would believe that now the stock could probably move towards the clubs of 1400, 1420, possibly over the next 3 to 4 weeks. So after last week's price uptick, it's just that the time taken by the stock on the upside could be a bit more higher, but then I'm expecting at least another 10% on the upside from current levels as well. So 1400, 1420 could be a target range for SBI Life, but that may not come out very quickly for the stock price. So you may have to wait for at least another couple of weeks.
Okay, actually a lot of short-term queries that are coming at this point in time. Let me try and see if I can find a long-term query, but okay. I have this one coming in from Omkar, and Omkar is saying that he's purchased Varun Beverages at a price of around 825 rupees per share. He's actually saying that he's cursing himself as to why didn't he buy some more. But for now, he wants to know what sort of a target should he set for this counter for the medium to longer term, and does it make sense to add some more also? What's your take on this one, Vijay, on Varun Beverages?
Well, I think this is quite a seasonal play, and I think that the stock still has the potential of going up to maybe 950, 960, and there he should book profits. I think that there are other opportunities available. Steel companies seemingly are very, very good. So, he can probably shift to steel once he gets that target. But 950, 960 is quite possible, and there he should book profits.
Okay, Vijay, I'm coming back to you on Kesoram Industries. Manikandan from Kerala is bought at levels of 52, and he's looking for a long-term view. What should he do with this holding?
I think that there are better options available. Kesoram primarily is into cement and tires. So if you look at both the industries, there are better options available. Lately, I saw in the newspapers that they are raising, money through FDs at the rate of 12.5%, which is pretty high. This talks about the financials of the company. They seemingly are in stress because somebody offering 12%, they are in stress. So I would say that, shift to a better counter. If you want to be in the tire space, I think Apollo Tires, Balakrishna, they are very good options. In the cement space, I think Ambuja and ACC are very good companies to have. Even Ramco Cements, for that matter, is very good.
Okay, this one is for you, Kunal, and this one is coming in from Sagar. He wants a technical view on MRF. He's saying he's bought 55 shares at around 68,200 to 68,500 odd levels. He wants to see, he's asking if you see 95,000 plus levels on MRF anytime soon.
Well, it could be possible. I think this month, or rather the previous month, was a strong move for many of these, tire names or auto anch names. And I think these stocks are also starting to move up higher start of this month as well. So I think it seems to be a good start for MRF. The expiry action also was quite interesting for these auto names and auto anch stocks, which means expecting that this move should continue for the auto anch names, and even so the case with MRF as well. The previous major high thing is that 95,000 for the stock, and the stock can try and challenge those levels probably pretty soon.
Okay, I'm going to take this to you, Vijay. Do you have a view on Olectra Greentech? I know that we've got a question coming in on WhatsApp from Rashmi, and she's asking for a view on the stock. What do you think?
Well,
Vijay?
this company is into buses. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
So this company is into electric buses, and BYD is a very big investor in this company and has a fairly big stake in the company. And BYD is a global name today, although it's owned by a Chinese owner, but they work across the globe. So BYD is spreading its wings, and even in India, I think that this stock is a portfolio stock. Keep on nibbling into this. And I think that this can go up to 950, 1,000 because the kind of transformation we are seeing in the EV space, times are not far off then when we'll see all the buses being being shifted to EV in the next few years. So Olectra is a long-term play according to me. Keep on nibbling, on every decline, keep on nibbling into the stock.
Let's move on, and this one is coming from KR Balan and Kunal. He wants to know whether it makes sense to buy Navbharat Ventures and Navin Flooring for the short to medium term. Do you think that it makes sense to have these counters in your portfolio?
See, I think Navbharat Ventures or NB Ventures, I think that's the core for NSE. I would not probably want to suggest a buy over there, because the stock seems to have been going through a mild uptrend for itself on a more broader basis. But Navin Flooring and the entire space as such, I think that's where I believe there could be more upside from a medium to long term play. I think these stocks have, as a bunch, done pretty well for themselves, and I believe if there's room for risk appetite as well as more positional play, then you can look to buy Navin Flooring. So I would recommend Navin Flooring, or give it more slightly higher focus as compared to Navbharat Ventures.
All right. Next question is coming in from Sukumar, and he's writing in from Chennai. This is on Paytm. Vijay, this one's for you. He's looking to hold this for at least a year. He's holding at levels of 608. What's the view? So his specific question is that, is there any possibility of it hitting 1,000 in a year's time?
Well, lately I was reading an article which mentioned that Vijay Shekhar Sharma is trying to be less visible and focus more on the revenue piece. And lately, if somebody is transacting through Paytm, which all of us do, I have lately noticed that they are charging some 1 to 2 rupees on every transaction. So this can change their balance sheet. But again, very difficult to say that within 1 year he will see 1,000. But I think that companies like Zomato, Paytm, market definitely has discounted whatever froth there was at the time of IPO, and these valuations are seemingly quite good and convincing. So Paytm at these levels should be held on to, and this gentleman should hold on. And I think that 1,000 definitely is possible on the cards. Time frame is very difficult because we really need to see quarter on quarter how the company performs and how the profitability comes in. But yes, at these levels, no point of selling. Keep being invested, stay invested in this company. 1,000 definitely is possible.
So it's from Neha Toteja, Kunal, and she's holding Mahindra & Mahindra at the levels of 810 rupees per share, Suntech Realty at the price of 448 rupees per share. She's saying that she's making really good profits in both of these counters, so she wants to know whether she should book profits now or wait for higher targets. She's not in need of any funds right now, so should she hold on to them?
Then why be in a hurry to sell? I think you have two very good names. M&M, I think we've been advocating a buy on M&M since last, I think, 2 to 3 months, and I still believe that this is a multi-month, multi-year rally for a stock like M&M. So it all depends on how long and how strong you can hold on to your stocks, even with a gain of 50% plus from your initial holding levels. So I would suggest a hold on M&M, and even for Suntech Realty as well. I think it's a stock which is starting to look very attractive on the medium term and the longer term charts. So would suggest a hold on both of them.
Certainly, M&M. I mean, think about it. If you had chosen to sell on Friday, you wouldn't have got 7% today. But having said that, let's talk about Ambuja Cement. And Anjali from Nashik is asking a specific question to you, Kunal. This is for August futures. How would you trade it?
I would avoid, because I think Ambuja Cement is going through that special situations move for itself. The stock is just recently come out of that slumber, I would say, or a sideways range from the 370, 375. So I would probably give it a pass, at least as of now. There are much better names on the cement stocks which are looking attractive. Something like Dalmia Bharat, Ultratech Cement, they're looking far more stronger. So I think the concentration should be there.
All right, on that note, let's slip into a break in this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. When we come back, we will continue with the queries. So viewers, don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
Everything in between.
Real estate, everyone knows, is an asset that Indians absolutely love, maybe even more than gold.
Join us every weekday at 5 p.m. on the ET Money Show. Investment made easy. Only on ET Now.
With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you asked, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
But if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge.
See, Nikunj, you're a very seasoned market observer, and therefore you may hit the nail on the head.
I think you have always kept the focus on the retail investor, and I think it's again a very apt, very good question.
Nikunj, first of all, thank you so much. You are one person I've always enjoyed interacting throughout last 15-20 years.
You know, the problem on coming on your channel is that you already know everything. I just heard your introduction. And what can anybody add to that?
Stock markets is a numbers game, and it sometimes does come across as one-dimensional.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now. Let's continue with the queries that have been piling up. A lot of them, and yes, we had a very curtailed query segment. Apologies for that, viewers. But yes, earnings season. Let's move on. This one is coming from Hari. He's writing to us from Abu Dhabi. He's saying he has 12 shares of Page Industries purchased at 19,000 rupees each, and he's holding it for more than 3 years. Now he wants to know whether he should continue to hold the share or no. What's your take on this one, Vijay? What should he do with Page Industries already holding on to it for the last 3 years?
I think that he should exit because he has seen stupendous returns from the investment. And there are other opportunities in the metal space, as I said. You know, I like the likes of Hindalco, Tata Steel, Jindal Steel specifically, because the coal prices have come down considerably, and coal prices contribute about 40% of the total cost of production. And due to this, I think that steel companies should post better quarters in the coming time. And they have definitely absorbed the export ban. There is a lot of domestic consumption in steel, and I think that the government is also going to spend big time on infra. So is the private sector. And post-monsoon specifically, we see a very serious uptick in the infra spending and in the construction space. So I think steel and metals are the sector to be. So Hindalco, Tata Steel, these, JSW, Jindal Steel are great options in the metal space. They
right,
should exit.
Vijay, sorry to interrupt you there. So you're saying exit from Page Industries and look at metal counters? Because my query was on Page Industries.
Precisely exit because this has run quite a bit. Yeah.
All right.
All right, so that's the view on Page Industries and indeed on the metal space. We've got a question on Gujarat Alkalis, and this one's for you, Kunal. We've got Puneet, who's looking for a 1 month view, and he's looking at how much it can rise from. So he's bought at levels of 904.
So I think I doubt within a month the stock would probably come back to your cost price. My sense, I think this because the stock has just come out of its 200 DMA in the last 1 month of consolidation, that there could be an upside of at least another 50-70 rupees. That's the best, which I believe could probably happen to the stock price from a very near-term view. So maybe 840, 850 thereabouts could be a price which you can look out for. So if a better strategy is, rather than waiting for the stock to come back to your cost price, is where you can look to average at current levels and then try and ensure that you exit the stock closer to your average cost price.
All right, my producer is indicating that we need to wind down the query segment. But before that, quickly, Kunal, Matthew from Kochi has 50 shares of Dixon Tech, purchased at 4,100 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he can hold on to it for a year or what else should he do? Should he hold, sell, average?
I think you should definitely look to hold, and if possible, then you can look to average. But I think the price for the average should be kept closer to 3,500.
Okay, on that note, I'm tempted to add one more, but then I think I will be short. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking the time, and always a pleasure. We have to slip into a very quick break. Do stay tuned.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है.
But what people don't see is that these numbers, when strung together, tell a story. There's no really black or white. It very much seems to be a work in progress of triumphs and mistakes, greed and fear. And I bring you that story behind the numbers in action.
The personal finance show that helps you achieve all your financial dreams.
This show gets you everything that you need to know about your money, how to earn more, invest smartly, and spend while getting the best bang for your buck.
From the perfect home to early retirement and everything in between.
Real estate, everyone knows, is an asset that Indians absolutely love, maybe even more than gold.
Join us every weekday at 5 p.m. on the ET Money Show. Investment made easy. Only on ET Now.
With each passing day, this market is becoming better. And with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge.
See, Nikunj, you're a very seasoned market observer, and therefore you may hit the nail on the head.
I think you have always kept the focus on the retail investor, and I think it's again a very apt, very good question.
Nikunj, first of all, thank you so much. You are one person I've always enjoyed interacting throughout last 15-20 years.
You know, the problem on coming on your channel is that you already know everything. I just heard your introduction. And what can anybody add to that?
Stock markets is a numbers game, and it sometimes does come across as one-dimensional. But what people don't see is that these numbers
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now. Let's focus in on earnings. And Indian Bank has reported its numbers for the first quarter. The PAT is up by 3% on a year-on-year basis at 1,213 crore rupees. Asset quality has improved. GNP currently stands at 8.13%, and the net NPA has come in at 2.12%. Domestic NIMs stood at 3.1%. We're joined by the management, Shantilal Jain, who's the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Indian Bank. Thank you so much, Mr. Jain, for taking the time. I do want to ask about a couple of rounds of rate hikes that we've seen. Has that been completely passed on to customers? And what's the outlook on margin expansion? Do we see a further expansion in the margins?
So Reserve Bank of India has increased the repo rate 40 bips in May and 50 bips in June. We have passed on 40 bips in the month of June and 52. And some of our MCL are also increased in the month of June by around 10 bips. So partially we have passed on the rate rise.
Mr. Jain, this is Cheryl also joining in the conversation. Could you tell us about your credit cost? Where could you see it for the full year? And also, if you could talk about the Future Group, your exposure to Future Group, is that already fully provided for?